Oh, husky pups, it's really cold here. Today's our last day of the ecosystems, and we started with the desert ecosystem, and today we're going to end with a Arctic tundra system. Extremely cold here. I don't know how any animals or plant life can live here, but they do. Let's learn a little bit about them today. Today, our informational writing standards have been the same for all week. 3.W2, writing an informative and explanatory text to explore the topic and convey ideas and information clearly. We have a lot of practice with that standard this week. Our second standard, 3.W2A, we need to include illustrations when useful for aiding comprehension. I know the students, you've been practicing that. I've seen your uploads. They're wonderful. 3.W2B, develop a topic with facts, definitions, and details. And again, I love your dojo uploads, and so do your teachers. Ecosystems is also known as biomes. We're going to begin with our slideshow. We began learning about what an informational text included. It was a nonfiction topic, and you need to educate the reader about a topic. But you needed to make sure that it wasn't dull and boring. And we learned that by asking a question, a hook question in the start of our paragraph was one strategy we could use. But you need to make sure that you answered that question and then told the reader what they were going to learn throughout that paragraph. Today, Ms. Baton read to you a book about the Arctic. Now, I want you to really look at these 2 pages. Look at the informational topics that are on there. I see water, I see snow, I see ice, I see the earth, I see animals, I see some bright yellow boxes. So in an informational report, it's not only the text, it's the illustration, the models as well. Be sure to include those illustrations. They're very useful for aiding comprehension. Now, when you look at this page, you're going to see, again, they have those boxes and circles that jump out. They also have labels. I want you to look at the bottom right-hand corner. Who is hunting for seals on the frozen ocean? Now, they've included the question and the answer. You have to turn the page. Throughout this book, I don't know if you realize that, the answer to the question is on the next page. And there's the answer. Let's look again at bottom. Who's sleeping under the snow? So when you write a question, it doesn't have to be always in that first sentence, but you can also include it in those fast facts, or you can include it in some kind of shape that'll signal the reader, kind of like what Chambret does. The border information is also giving the reader a clue as to what is going to be on the next page. And notice, all of these are following our 3 standards for the week. Now on this page, I want you to really notice, in the middle they have, it looks like grasses. A newborn polar bear cub are the size of a guinea pig. They have no teeth and they cannot see. So you can put shapes in a fact that has to do something about the topic. And it gives the reader information in a fun, friendly way. And again, what's happening when spring sunshine warms up the tundra? And here we have another 2-page example for the answers. These are the babies that are born on the tundra in the spring. Look at all that different information. And the order in which you read that doesn't make a difference. That also is a great way to hook your reader on that page, because they can choose to read where their interest lies. Which baby animals must make a long, dangerous journey? To find that answer, we have to go to the next page. And here's a woolly bear, very much like a woolly bear that we would find in our habitat. And again, Look at the information. They have those shapes. They have bright colors where it draws your eyes. It has a wonderful photograph, background. And I want you to notice the word hibernation. It stands out. So this we know then would be in the glossary or words to know or fun words to know. The Arctic Food Web. I hope you noticed that there was a food chain in all of your books this week. Very important to know the food chain for a habitat, the ecosystem, or the biome. And look how complicated the Tundra food chain is. The arrows again tell you what gets eaten by what, just as it was in our other books. But then it also helps just by looking at that, you don't have to read a text. You can see where it all starts and where it ends. And my question for you is, who is at the top of the food chain? Give you a minute to look. Yes, it is. It's the polar bear, and the seal comes in second. So just by looking at that, you can have an impact on that reader without reading the text. Very important. And the glossary can also have pictures or illustrations for your reader. We've just went through our 3 standards. And the reason we're doing that is because today, I want you to think about all the books that Miss Batone has read to you about the ecosystem. You are going to create a research report on any one of the ecosystems you learned about. You must include at least 3 questions in your report with the answers for your reader. In your report, you also need to include illustrations, labeled models, and drawings. Be sure to include the vocabulary words and their definitions in your reports. You should go back and listen to the story or reread the book on Epic that you choose to do your report on. So, number 1, create a report on an ecosystem, any of the ones that you've heard this week. You have to include 3 questions for your reader. Please don't put them all on the same page. You want to spread them out. They could be in the sentence, the title, a fun fact, or in that little arrow box like we learned today. Make sure though the answers are in your report. So if you're asking the reader a question, you want to make sure you're giving them the information. You also need to create illustrations, labeled models, and drawings. Make sure they're interesting and colorful. This is when you can pull out your markers, your colored pencils, and be sure to include the vocabulary words with the definitions. Now you can make this in a book form. You can make this in a poster form. Some of you have experience in making it in a digital form, either in a Prezi or some other way that you're familiar with. Make sure you upload them to your teacher so that on Dojo or Portfolio so they can see them. We can't wait either. Now I want to show you this form that you can use. This is just a suggestion that if you chose, I did the Tundra, you can put the topic in the middle. I did location, and then I took my facts and I put above the location facts. Then I did climate, and then I did 2 facts. I did vegetation, and then I did animals and 2 facts. So this is an idea before you start writing your report, you could put some type of graphic organizer down. Now, I didn't put a question, but I could have. The location question could have said, do you know where the tundra is located? Or, our climate here is varied. We have 4 seasons. Do you know what the climate is on the tundra? So those 4 informational fact circles could also be turned into questions, but you could also make a question in one of your details and then give them the answer. Our 3 standards this week were connected. We really wanted you to understand that when you're talking about the main idea of a text, you need to support it by the key details for your reader, but the writer needs to do the same thing so that the reader can understand what is being written. Through academic vocabulary, we need to make sure that we include that content vocabulary with their definitions, because much of the information that you're going to share is brand new to the reader. And illustrations, maps, drawings, captions is a way to help your reader understand that information. We cannot wait to see, boys and girls, what you're going to share with us today based on what you have learned all week. We've had a lot of fun creating these videos for you. I hope you enjoyed them as much as we've enjoyed making them for you. Can't wait to see what you upload for the teachers. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.